Hey guys, so I wanted to run you through Planetary Interactions because I know some of you have issues setting up, don't know where to start. So the way I did it was by finding out exactly what you need for oxygen fuel blocks. Now this PI is for oxygen fuel blocks in particular. So I went to look at the blueprint for oxygen fuel blocks to the manufacturing window. Now ignore the ice, what you need for ice, because that's what you get from ice mining. Glitter and stuff, dark glitter and stuff from low sec, and the oxygen isotopes from high sec. So the PI, so let's say you want to make one run of your oxygen fuel blocks, which makes you 40 fuel blocks. You're going to need 1 robotics, 4 enriched uranium, 4 mechanical parts, 9 coolant, and 20 oxygen at minimum. So I put all this into a spreadsheet, which you'll see here. Basically, here it is. So you got 4 enriched uranium, 20 oxygen, 4 mechanical parts, 9 coolant, and 1 robotics. Now I went to a website and found out exactly what makes all these parts, so I've put them here on the right hand side. So enriched uranium needs precious metals and toxic metals, so that's your P1s. Enriched uranium is a P2 level, so your precious metals and toxic metals are over here. So your P0s, you need noble metals to make precious metals, and your toxic metals need heavy metals. So basically that's what I did, and knowing that robotics is probably going to be the hardest to make, it's your P3 step, so you need mechanical parts and consumer electronics to make robotics, which mechanical parts needs reactive metals, precious metals, which are over here. So there's 3 steps involved in a production chain. So what I've gone and done, put it all down, I went right down to the rare materials, ionic solutions, aqueous liquids, non-CS crystals, and I typed them all here. So this is what I'm going to need to find planets to do. Ignore this part for now, this stuff, I'll show you all that after. But I went to the system that I want to use, which for me was Munvon, and it's got 7 planets that I was interested in looking at. So what I've done is gone in-game here to Munvon, and I've scanned every planet. So orbital bodies, you go to, say for example, the first planet is a lava planet. Hang on, let me go back to this screen. Here you go. So in Munvon, the system I've chosen, I've gone into the info from Munvon, gone to the orbital bodies, and looked at all the planets that are available. I knew there was a lava, storm, gas, another gas here, more gas here, plasma, and a storm. So I've put them all into that spreadsheet. I've gone into each planet and went to view planetary production. So now I've already set this up, but normally you'll see nothing. It'll be just bare like this. And then you go to your scan screen and you see all these here. It tells you base metals, there's 25% density, 11% felsic magma, heavy metals 74%, non-CS crystals 33%, and so on and so on. Now I know I don't need half of these materials. If I click on one, you can see the density of the material. You can use this bar here to change the resolution. As your skills go up, you'll be able to see more. So I know there's a lot of heavy metals here. So I typed all these numbers down. Go back in here. 74% heavy metals I had on the lava, and 33% non-CS. So I've done that for every planet of what resources it has that I need. So Storm had noble gas, had base metals, had blah blah blah. So I did it all the way down, and then for each resource, so for heavy metals, I went down and I scanned which one was the most dense. So plasma had 40% density, lava had 74%. For base metals, you've got quite a lot in every planet, but the best one was Storm. So at the end of this, when all the reds were done, I knew that the ones that had 2 reds in one system would be the ones I would focus on pure extraction. So my lava planet is only extracting heavy metals and only extracting non-CS crystals. That's it, and all the CPUs used on that. Storm is doing base metals and aqueous liquids. And there's another storm here which is doing heavy metals and ionic solutions. There is one more planet that I couldn't fit. That's how it is. Plasma. Noble metals, the only planet that had it was the plasma. So then what I've decided to do is where I'm going to put factories to, so you've got the planets that extract, and then I've got planets that just set up factories. The planets that I've got for that are the ones that generally don't have materials that I need to extract. So I've gone and put it on the gas, because there is a chance that if I am low on something, I could use this planet, because it does have the next highest available for these materials. Put it on this gas, and I've also made sure I've got one on the plasma, so I can do some extracting and manufacturing. So the way I started setting up is by the manufacturing, and I started with robotics because it is the hardest to do. It is the highest tier, it's P3, and that's what I know is going to set my upper limit to how much oxygen fuel cells I can make per day. So going back to planets, into your planetary production, I'm going to show you how I've set up each planet. Now robotics is, I've put it on my gas planet. So how I've done this, you start with your command center and you upgrade it straight away. Every command center should be to maximum upgrade to be able to fit this completely, because as you can see I've got 92% of my CPU used. So I start by making two launch pads. One is for my incoming goods when I'm in space, and one is for outgoing goods. It makes it a lot easier, there's more room. And you do need a storage facility for excess raw materials. So I started making an advanced factory which outputs robotics. Okay, and you know that you can output 3 units per hour. Okay, now looking back at this spreadsheet, so I know I can make 3 units per hour, and 3 by 24 is 72. Okay, 3 by 3 units times 72 times 24 hours means I've got an upper limit of 72 robotics I can make per day. So this will make me 72 robotics per day. Now what it needs to be able to make the robotics, it needs 10 consumer electronics every hour, and it needs 10 mechanical parts every hour. So here's my mechanical parts, this next factory, and it can only make 5 per hour. As you can see, you can make 5 mechanical parts per hour, which means you need 2 factories for mechanical parts to feed into this robotics. So I've put 2 down, mechanical parts, and that will spit me out 5 each, so 10 total per hour, and it will feed into robotics. You then need to make the mechanical parts. You actually need reactive metals and precious metals, and you need 40 units of each per hour. So down lower in a tier, a basic factory, P1, is my reactive metals, and below that is my precious metals, which feeds into mechanical parts, which feeds into robotics and goes into my launch pad. So, and I have to make 2 of each. Mechanical parts, reactive metals, precious metals. And what else did we need? You need also consumer electronics, and I need 2 of those factories. So I've got 2 consumer electronics factories, and these need chiral structures and toxic metals. So toxic metals, every hour, every 30 minutes, will pump out 20 units per hour, per 30 minute into this, but you need 40 per hour. Okay, says you need 40 units, but you only need the one because it cycles every 30 minutes. 20 every 30 minutes is 40 per hour. So these are your heavy metals that make your toxic metals, and non-CS crystals will make your chiral structures. Now up here I've got 2 extra mechanical parts factories. The simple reason for this is I need extra mechanical parts, which we'll show here. So as we saw in the manufacturing window and industry tab, mechanical parts, yes, you need mechanical parts to make robotics, but you also need mechanical parts as a raw ingredient, in your manufacturing of the ice blocks. So I've had to make 2 stations. Now, the reason I made 2, very simply put, let's go back into here. So if I were to make one mechanical part, it's going to pump out 5 units per hour. So 5 by 24 for 24 hours gives you, hang on, let me go into the spreadsheet, would give me 120 if I had just one factory. So I made 2 factories, so I'll get 240 units in 24 hours. Okay, which means I can make 60 units of ice. Does that make sense? Because my robotics makes 72 per hour. That is my upper limit. You only need one robotic per oxygen fuel block, per run of oxygen fuel block. So 72, I can make 72 units. But now my upper limit is not 72. When I made mechanical parts, it is 60 because I can only fit 2 stations on the planet. So that is my bottleneck. Go back into this. And the reason it's my bottleneck is I can't fit another factory on this planet because my CPU is too high. So if I went to try and make one, build, basic, I can probably fit 1 but not anything else. So if I tried to make another one next to it to make the goods, no, so I'm out of space. So my upper limit is actually 60 runs of oxygen fuel blocks. Now the next planet I have set up is my plasma planet. It is also extracting. It's extracting noble metals. It is the one that I'm doing part extracting and part manufacturing. So my noble metals are here doing their job. Let's have a look at it. Scan. Bring this down. So actually, yeah. So it extracts basically once a day. I have to come in and have a look at this, maybe twice a day, because it is probably my hardest planet to extract from, to get noble metals from. I've got all 10 extractors on, and I'm still only pulling 28,000 per hour on noble metals, and I'll explain why I need a certain number and how I figured that out. So noble metals, I also needed to make enriched uranium as one of the ingredients. So enriched uranium also uses toxic metals and precious metals, which is heavy metals. So 2 planets need heavy metals. My robotics planet needs heavy metals for the mechanical parts, which goes into robotics, and this planet needs heavy metals. It also needs the noble metals, which are getting extracted here anyway. So once they get pulled, all it does is it stores all of the noble metals into this storage facility, and it also routes the noble metals into these P1s to make precious metals, which goes into my enriched uranium. And I've also got here set up 2 factories for oxygen, which uses noble gas, which I'm extracting in another planet. Which planet is it? I believe it is a storm planet. I have gas extracting. And I have 2 of them in, which allows me to make the oxygen, which makes me 90, I believe. Let me go have a look. Oxygen 96. So I'm making more than I need to cover the robotics, mechanical parts and all that, so I hope that makes sense for you guys. So that's my next manufacturing planet, and my last manufacturing planet is the coolant. The coolant I make enough to make 66 units of ice, of oxygen fuel blocks per day. So coolant, every hour it will spit out 5. I've made 5 of them, so it means 25 units of coolant per hour I'll be spitting out by 24 hours. Sorry, I got 80 here. So, oh, yep, I was right. Yep, 24 hours, 600 units, which 600 units of coolant per day, which allows me to make 66 fuel blocks every day. But again, my upper limit is 60 because of these these ingredients that I can't make more of on one toon. If I had more toons, sure. Or if someone was feeding in, selling me the raw mats, sure. So yes, I have 5 of those in. They feed the output material into this launch pad, the coolant, and this is my input pad. And if I've got too much when I go to put it into the planet, I'll drop it into here as well. So I've got extra, and it'll route it into here. You should know how to do the routing. There are a lot of tutorials. So how did I work out how much I need to extract? Right, so let's go back to the original planet. So I know I had mechanical parts that are needed as a raw material, and I needed mechanical parts as well to go into the robotics. This meant I needed 4 reactive metals, which uses your base metals. So 1 base metal here, 1 base metal here, 1 base metal there, and 1 base metal here. Now each one takes 3,000 units every 30 minutes. So every hour needs 6,000 units. And there's 4 of these here. So 6,000 times 4 is 24,000 units of base metals. But also looking at my consumer electronics, that uses heavy metals, right? So what I've done, heavy metals on this planet, I know there's 2 planets that uses heavy metals and 2 planets that uses noble metals that I swap between the planets. So your heavy metals, 6,000, because it's every hour, not every 30 minutes, so 6,000, 12,000. My next planet that uses heavy metals is this one. This uses heavy metals, so another 6,000 and 6,000. So look at my spreadsheet. I've then broken down what I need per hour of everything. Heavy metals needs 24,000, base metals 24,000, noble metals 36,000, that's my highest number, and I know I can't achieve that on this planet by myself. I might have had to set it up a different way so that I was extracting something else from this, but I know that my numbers on everything else on this planet wouldn't have really... I'll look at it, maybe I could do non-CS crystals and nobles on there and then put it on another planet, because there is plenty of heavy metals. I might swap the 2 planets over. But anyway, I've put it here, and then I've worked out how much I need every 24 hours. So for extracting, go in here again. Let's go into my first extraction planet, where I'm getting my heavy metals and my non-CS crystals. Now I know heavy metals I need 24,000, right? So this is my first extraction planet, and I've got it all extractors out. Hang on, I'll bring this scan down so it's a bit easier. Pretty much put it anywhere. That's been running for nearly a week now. But I've got I'm pulling average per hour 23,872. Well, I only need 24,000, but if you look at the whole, it's way more on average. If you look at the whole thing, this is producing on the 10th hour, it's already getting me 62,000 units in the hour. And right down the end, when it's getting down near the end, it's still doing 28, 27, 26, 25, 25,000 units. So it's about here. I'm on 4th day and 6th hour that I'll probably cancel. I'll stop the extraction and just start a new fresh one. So I've always got more, but I'll have excess in my hangar by then anyway, so I can just let it run out. Now the way I go and collect my stuff and move things from station to station, I'll show you how I do that. Pretty sure, yep, these guys are in station. So I'm going to go to my extraction planets first and bring everything into my ship here. Right, so customs office.
Warp drive active.
Now I'm going to transfer everything that is in this to my launch pad. done. Right, let's pick up everything in here. Right, then I'll go to the next planet.
Warp drive active.
Make sure everything's transferred from the storage. The reason I do that is because if I leave it for a little bit longer, it's got a little bit more space, and I can transfer things over to here when I need to. Or I could have it in both. I could have that filled up and then wait till I have that filled up as well, and I can pick up both at once. You can only do one expedited transfer every hour. 4 hours. Oh, 4 hours because I've got so much material getting transferred to the launch pad. Right, then I'll go to the last one.
Warp drive active.
Do the same thing. Now, see, this still has 5 days. I don't need to touch it for 5 days, these both. But I may just change one of my planets over, so I'm not moving materials from... so I'm able to get more noble metals. So I'll probably put 2 extractions on the noble metal planet. Or I'll just get my other tune and just set it up for just extracting noble metals, then I won't have this problem. It's not a big problem, it just means that I have to visit the planet once a day at least, so I can't leave it for 5 days. Okay, so I'll grab these materials. Now I'm going to go back to this planet here to drop off the aqueous liquids and stuff. Customs offers warp to 0.
Warp drive active.
Yep. So this is where I'm going to be dropping off my aqueous liquids and ionic solutions. As you can see, it's pretty full, so I'm going to transfer stuff to this storage facility so that I can push more in. Transfer that over. What's wrong? There we go. So now that's empty and I'll have room to drop my stuff in. And it's got some things ready as well. I'll show you how that works. Now I'll show you why 2 launch pads are handy so you don't get things mixed up. So that's the one I've emptied here. My aqueous liquids and ionic solutions can go straight in. So I've got the 2 launch pads so that I don't get confused. See, my finished product is in one and my raw product is in the other. Sometimes these are already full, and if everything's mixed up, it just makes it harder for yourself. Right, now I'm going to go to the next planet that has got some extractions as well.
Warp drive active.
Let's view this one while I'm warping. I'm going to put some, so this is my finished product, I believe. No, not finished product, that's where it's pulling from. So I'm going to have to move some of these things. Yep, I'm going to move it all to here. Right, I'm going to move, so this is finished products. Yep, I'm going to move some of this noble metals to my launch pad. I would like to send it over to the other planet. So it should still be in warp, and there is Serpentis here. It's not. Oh, they're 8,000 Ks, that's alright. See what happens here. So, I need heavy metals. I'm only going to send some of it because I know I need it for another planet. I'm going to put 200,000 of that. I'm going to put noble gases in there. Transfer it over. And pick up the finished product at the same time, as well as my noble metals for the other planet. And let's go to my last planet.
Warp drive active.
Do I still have heavy metals in here? Yes, I'm still pretty good with heavy metals. I'm going to move things over so I'm guaranteed to have room. Expedited transfer to the storage container. Right, and there's some finished product as well to pick up. So I'll drop off non-CS crystals here, heavy metals, noble metals, and base metals. They all go here. Now, do I have room? It's 10,000. It's not going to be enough. Base metals, I'm going to take 250 away, 200,000. You've got to get it to about. Put some non-CS crystals back. 80. About 10,000 M3 you can fit in a launch pad. This should all fit. And I'll pick up my finished goods from this pad. That's it. And then head back to the station. Now I've got 9.4 million worth of stuff here.
Drive active.
Mechanical parts, 80. Beautiful, so I can make 80 fuel blocks. Robotics, but I've got 27 robotics. Must have been something missing here for a little while, which is now siphoning through. Yep. So I was like low on noble metals, which I've now stocked it right up. Some there. Yep, that should keep it going for a little while. And that's pretty much it. Now I'll ship this back to Postman. I'll leave these raw materials in my personal hangar so I can bring it with me next time and just make sure I've stocked everything right up on the planets. You've always got some excess, and if you've got too much excess you can always bring it back and sell it to the corporation as well.
Docking permission requested.
Or sell it in Boyston. Taking a while to dock here. Come on.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Right. So take everything out of my planetary production from the epithal because I don't fly that around. Should have some other things from before. Yeah, I should have brought that with me last time. I would have given more base metals and non-CS crystals. That's pretty much it. And get into the locator and head back and these goodies. 5, 6. It is 6 that I need. That's only 5 things. I've got something too much that I don't actually need here. I think it's noble gases. No, noble gases I can also keep here. Noble gases go into making oxygen. Or coolant. I think it's oxygen. So it goes into the thing, and that's 8 million worth of stuff now. Enough to make it quite a bit. Alright. So 27 robotics, and that wasn't a full day. I'll give you a quick look. 27 robotics. We'll go into the oxygen fuel blocks. Means you can make 27 runs, which will give you 1,000 fuel blocks for your day. That's one day without getting your PI, without getting the ice. Not bad. It is higher than that. I can normally get 60, 70, but I must have yesterday I must have left it behind when we were doing ice mining. All right. Thanks all.